excited about this video. I've been thinking about it for ages, right? But before we jump into the video, a little warning for you. So if you notice my hair shrinking throughout the video, that's true. My hair reacts to the temperature. That's just the truth about Afro hair. But let's jump into the video about the 10 shocking truths that I found out about Italy. Okay guys, so the first shocking truth, I don't know if this has changed in Italy, but no circumcision. There's no thing called circumcision. They don't see any point about it. They just believe that there is no point to remove the foreskin from men, and this came as a shocking to me to find out that Italians don't really put that much attention to removing the foreskin, because in my country, as the baby is born, I mean, a few days later, the baby's already being circumcised. So this came as a shocking to me. It was like, no circumcision? Okay, let's just get all this sex talk out of the way. One thing that I found really surprising and kind of funny was to realize that Italians really enjoy their sex and they enjoy having it safely. So one thing that came as a shock to me was to realize that there were condom vending machine in every corner. Here in the US, you find vending machines inside a building. You don't necessarily see them outside, but in Italy there are vending machines outside selling condoms. So I was like, well, this is actually something good, because these people want to be safe. They want to stay away from diseases and so on. So I appreciated that. The third thing, oh, Italians. The third thing also is related to sex, is the fact that Italians openly discuss sex. And there is no shame about it. As someone who comes from a very traditional family, kind of conservative, it was a little shocking to me to see that the papa, the mamas, the Zio and Zias, the aunties are discussing these kind of things there, and it wasn't such an issue. Everyone was kind of talking about it. There was the brother-in-law who was talking about how you know, he hasn't been getting it because his wife keeps complaining, and I'm just like, oh my god. And he's like, I don't know why women are always tired and complaining. I was like, oh my goodness. What's going on? It was really awkward, and there were kids who were 5 there, and it was open. They were open, and I was a little bit shocked, and they didn't seem to be shocked about it. The fourth thing, I should stop counting because I'm probably gonna forget where I am. The fourth thing is that shocked me is that children, little kids, drink wine. In the US, you can go and fight the war at 18, but you cannot drink you cannot go and buy alcohol. Even if you're turning 21 in 2 hours, it's illegal. You cannot do this. I was really shocked to see a little kid who was about this height. He was 8 years old, my first time in Italy, and I had friends who invited me, and we were toasting, and he picked up a glass and toasted, and no one seemed to care about him, and no one seemed to ask him to stop. Actually, grandmas would give to their granddaughters wine, red wine, because they claim that it warms up their blood. And this came as a shocking, and I was like, woo, this is something that would make American parents cringe and die. The fifth thing that shocked me was to realize that there is a real divide between Northerners and Southerners. This is something that I didn't know prior to going to Italy. It was really crazy to me, because I have some friends who are from the north and some friends who are from the south, and it's crazy how they just blame each other about about things that's going on in Italy, about the economy, about politics. They call each other names, and the Northerners have their names for Southerners, and the Southerners have their names for the Northerners. This really surprised me a lot because I didn't think I could find such a divide between Italians. When you go to grab your coffee at a bar, because Italians get their coffee from the bar, you should know that standing at the bar would cost you less than sitting at the table. That's why when you go to bars, many bars in Italy, you'll see people standing. The first time I was kind of weirded out about it because I didn't know why people were standing at the bar just having their coffee to go, and they just stand there and talk. I didn't know why, and then later on I got to figure out the reason for these people standing at the bar is because it costs them less to stand there and have their coffee, and it's usually an espresso. It usually takes not more than 5 minutes to have your morning coffee, so it's just like quick and go. Speaking about standing at the table and saving money, one thing that you should know about Italians, they love their cash. Cash is king in Italy. You should always carry cash with you. They don't really have this culture of using credit cards and debit cards. Here we swipe credit cards and debit cards buying everything, even something that costs 50 cents. We use credit cards. I don't really carry cash much because my cards just do it. In Italy, yes, there are so many places where you can use your credit cards, your debit cards, but it's just in their nature to bring cash, to use cash. Cash is king in Italy. Just remember to bring your cash. Alright, so I almost got in trouble last summer because I went to this open market to just look around to see how Italians do their open market, and I saw these beautiful shoes, and I wasn't gonna buy, but I just wanted to look at it because it was really cute. And the owner gave me that really weird look, like, what are you doing touching my items like that? So don't just touch. Before you touch an item, especially if you're not buying, before you touch, you have to ask for permission. Most of Italians are very traditional. They want you to respect their craft, so just ask. Also, when you go to the supermarket, you'll see that they have plastic bags. Those plastic bags are placed there for you so that you can pick your veggies, you can pick your fruit using your plastic bag. It acts as a glove so that you don't spread the germs if you have them. So just remember to always ask for permission. Whoa, this came as a shock to me because I felt like I was gonna die. I'll tell you the story later. But you have to know that shops close from noon to 3 p.m. Italy felt really slow to me. I feel like people were just slow. They're just accustomed to their ways of life, and they didn't bother, and that was their routine. They did this every day. They would close a shop from noon to 3 p.m. To have lunch, to cook. I don't know, like they cook almost, I mean, when I was there, they were cooking every day. They were cooking lunch and dinner every single day. So the shops would close from noon to 3 p.m. Just remember that if you want to go and look around, look at the shops, especially like I wasn't expecting, even in most touristy area where I was in VST. I'll try to attach a picture. The shops closed. The shops closed at noon. The restaurants, of course, opened for lunch, but the shops closed. But here's the story. I was traveling from Florence to Naples via train, and from Naples I was supposed to take the bus to my final destination. And at this point, I mean, I didn't feel like I needed to do number one, so I just stayed in my spot watching TV, having fun. So when I got off the train, I basically only had 15 minutes to get to my bus station because the train ran a little bit late. We were held up for security reasons. The train couldn't move, so I was 1 hour behind the time. So when we got to Naples, I only had about 15 minutes to make it to my bus station. And so I didn't want to use the restroom at the station, so I decided to go at the train station. I decided to just make it to my bus station first before I use the restroom. At least I could talk to the bus driver to wait for me. And then I go across the street where the restroom was, and then the guy just tell me, "Cuso." And I was like, no, you're kidding me. This is a restroom at a bus station. How can this be Cuso? And I was really shocked. I begged the guy. I was like, I have to travel for another hour or so, and I really need to use the restroom. The guy said no. And I'm telling you, when I got to my destination, I couldn't walk. Like, I literally was going to pee in the, it got to a point where I was like, shameless, I'm gonna pee in the, like, seriously, if we were held up in that bus, I was gonna ask the bus driver to pull up for me to pee on the road. That's how bad it got. So just remember to look up the times when the restrooms close, to also always have depending on where you're going, especially if you're going to Naples, one of the restrooms that I used did not even have a toilet paper. This is not to put Italy down or anything. Italy is a beautiful country, but I'm just talking about my experience. There was no toilet paper, so you will see people selling napkins, like small napkin paper. Just carry that with you in your bag, just in case. Also, just in case your bus has to pull over for you to pee on the highway. So yeah. Last thing that you should know about Italians, they are very romantic, very lovely people, nice people. I've fallen in love with Italians. I love them. They're great people. They make love to their food. They're very traditional, very romantic. When they cook for you, when they invite you, they want you to enjoy it. They're really doing it for you. It's for you. Maybe I'm just in love with Italians, but they're very traditional. So things such as microwaves, to-go boxes, like we have in America when we go to parties, we bring some to-go boxes. We go to restaurants, we pack whatever's left, is non-existent in Italy. There is no to-go boxes. They cook enough for you to eat, and whatever's left, whatever, you know, there's no to-go boxes. It's just not in the culture of packing things and going. They just put too much love in their food and so on when they cook. So they don't want to be microwaving their food. It's non-existent. So when you go to a party in Italy, don't start asking for to-go boxes, because they'll feel offended or feel like they didn't feed you enough. Oh, because they want you, when they invite you, they want you to be satisfied. If you really like the food, it's good for you to overeat than to ask for a to-go box, because there's no such thing as to-go boxes in Italy. So I hope you enjoyed my video. If you got this far and you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe down below. Is it here? There's a red box there. Just go ahead, subscribe. It doesn't cost a dime. I'd love to keep in touch with you. So thumbs up, like the video, share away. I cannot wait to see you next time. Message me. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. I've made it easy for you to message me. So looking forward to speaking with you again next week. Bye bye. Un bacio. Ciao.